Governor Matole delivers lecture on security. Federal government approves full reopening of schools. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar fault hike in electricity tariff on business. Naira strengthened against the dollar. And on the international scene, Nigeria bars Air France, Lufthansa, KLM, and others in its flight resumption. Hello and welcome to Svtv News. I am Musa Joy Unyoza. Governor Bello Mohammed Matawale Marado delivered his lecture on Thursday, 3rd September 2020, where he shared his experience on security and development at the National Institute for Security Studies, Buhari, Abuja. Governor Matawale was officially invited by the Institute to address participants its Executive Intelligence Management course number 13. Governor Bello Mohammed discussed extensively on the issues of security and development in Zamfara State under his administration. He advanced the causes of insecurity and challenges faced by the government as well as his achievement in that sector. His Royal Majesty the Oni of Ife Adeyenitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II has bestowed the title of Oba of Ife Odua on Governor Bello Matawale Marado. The title, which literally means the peacemaker, would be formally bestowed on the governor in the next few weeks. The Oni announced this award when he paid a courtesy visit on the governor in his house in Abuja. He extolled the good virtues of Governor Matawale as a detribalized leader and politician, pointing out that his good intention was responsible for his success in bringing peace to the troubled state he inherited. He said the quality of Matawale's leadership is worth emulating by all governors in Nigeria because he has not only proved to be an able leader to his people by restoring peace in the state, but also a worthy leader to others as he now serves as a bridge builder across the Niger. The federal government has approved the full reopening of schools across the country for the commencement of the new academic session. The National Coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliu, gave the directive at the PTF briefing on Thursday, September 3rd. Dr. Ali, who directed them to conduct risk assessments, said reopening will be done in phases. For educational institutions, which include daycare, primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions, should begin the process of working towards potentially reopening within this phase. However, he strongly recommended that state conduct risk assessment to ensure all schools are at a level of compliance and create a monitoring mechanism to assess, create, and monitor this level of preparedness. Similarly, the federal government has given the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) the green light to start making plans to reopen its orientation camps were shut in March as part of measures to curb COVID-19. The National Coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliu, made this known during a briefing at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Dr. Sani Aliu said for the National Youth Service Corps, the NYSC is to consolidate on safety measures currently being put in place and start preparing for the reopening of orientation camps when educational institutions open. The federal government says the nationwide curfew in place in the country to rescue movement amid the coronavirus pandemic is now from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. National Coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliu, disclosed this on Thursday during a briefing in Abuja. In June, the PTF reduced the nationwide curfew from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. in a bid to limit social interactions and reduce the risk of transmission of the virus. Dr. Aliu, however, explained that people on essential service and travelers returning from abroad are exempted from the curfew. The Department of State Services has interrogated the chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC COVID-19 Palliative Distribution Committee, Sambobo Jackridge. According to a report by The Nation on Thursday, Mr. Jackridge, a Niger Delta freedom fighter, confirmed the development, saying he was invited by the DSS after a petition he sent to the National Assembly accusing the NDDC Interim Management Committee of diverting 6.25 billion naira palliative for the region, approved by President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. Jackridge was invited August 24th to meet with the State Director of the DSS in Rivers State. It was gathered that the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has encouraged Maina to write a petition asking for a review of his case in order for the plot against Magu to materialize. The Presidential Investigative Panel established by President Muhammadu Buhari to probe the activities of suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Ibrahim Magu, has been given fresh 6 weeks to continue with the work. Head of Panel Justice Ayo Salami, retired, has applied to travel to the United Kingdom to investigate the case of a former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Dezani Alison Madueke, who has been accused of financial misappropriation on a grand scale. In a bid to nail Magu, the panel is planning to bring ex-chairman of the defunct pension reform tax team, Abdul Rashid Maina, to testify against the former acting EFCC boss. It was gathered that the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has encouraged Maina to write a petition asking for a review of his case in order for the plot against Magu to materialize. Following the high price of foodstuff in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari has stated that the federal government is doing everything possible to lower the high cost. The president revealed this on his Twitter account on Thursday, 3rd September 2020, stating that the federal government is aware of the difficulty it has posed on its citizens. The president said the government is mindful of the challenge of high food prices at a time when the economy is already in a slowdown caused by the global coronavirus situation, and are doing everything in its power to bring down the prices of food items across the country. Citizens of Nigeria have suffered a difficult time due to lack of foodstuff and income since the outbreak of coronavirus. Determined to also shape the future of Kanu students studying at Mansoura University, Egypt, despite their being devoured into politics, sometimes last year, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje applied large heart and pardoned the 37 students and released over 209 million naira for the payment of their outstanding tuition and maintenance fees. It could be recalled that sometime last year, those students wrote an apology letter and sent to the governor regretting their action. In the letter, they said they were the 37 students of Mansoura University who were earlier removed from the government sponsorship due to some misinformation communicated between the university authorities and the government. That misinformation has generated some sequence of events which led to the government decision to bring them back home. The administrators of the Nigerian Media Merit Award (NMMA) have called the attention of media professionals across the nation to apply for its yearly award categories by forwarding their best work published in the year 2019. This was conveyed in a jointly signed statement by General Administrator Tosan Faloyi and Chairman NMMA Board of Trustees Harun Abdulrashid Adamu. The NMMA administrator also thanked the media industries and credible corporate organizations for their support for the noble objectives for the award organization. They also noted that despite the ravaging COVID-19 pandemic, the organization are resolved to sustain the Merit Award through the support and showcase of the media. Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President and Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), has faulted the increase in electricity tariffs in Nigeria. He said the development was ill-timed because coming out of the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, that what Nigerians needed was a stimulus. Nigerians have been kicking against the increment in electricity tariff, which commenced this month, and the hike in the pump price of fuel by the Buhari administration. The Senate had earlier asked the Nigerian electricity distribution companies to shelve its tariff of 2021 due to the current economic challenges the country is facing since the pandemic. However, a NAC document showed that electricity customers, except those receiving less than 12 hours of supply, would have to pay more for electricity starting from September 1st, 2020. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. On Business, Aguirita has more detail.
Welcome to Standard Voice Business Update. The Naira on Thursday gained 1 point to appreciate against the dollar at the parallel market in Lagos. The News Agency of Nigeria reported that the Naira exchange at 439 to a dollar at the parallel market in Lagos, while pound sterling and the euro closed at 580 Naira and 495 Naira respectively. Investors at the investors window traded the Naira at 286.25 Naira to a dollar, as market turnover stood at $92.18 million. However, the Naira was sold at 379 to a dollar at the official Central Bank of Nigeria CBN window. Now report that the planned sale of foreign exchange to rob the change operators nationwide has sent panic to the camp of speculators that was leading to the rebounding of the Naira at the parallel market. Another on Standard Voice Business Update. I'm Aguirita.
And on the international scene, ahead of the resumption of international flights, the Nigerian government has released the list of international airlines denied approval to operate in the country. The aviation minister Hadi Sirika said Air France, KLM, Etihad, Rwanda Air, Lufthansa, TAG Angola Airlines, Air Namibia, and Royal Air Maroc are airlines denied entrance into the country. Nigeria had in August vowed to implement a reciprocity clause by banning flights and airlines from countries that put similar bans on flights from Nigeria as nations opened their airspace amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Sirika, while speaking at the bi-weekly Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 briefing on Thursday, said only approved airlines will be allowed into the country's airspace. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Governor Matole delivers lecture on security. Federal government approves full reopening of schools. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar fault hike in electricity tariff. On Business, Naira strengthened against the dollar. And on the international scene, Nigeria bars Air France, Lufthansa, KLM, and others in its flight resumption. That's the news on behalf of the production crew and Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Alhaji Ibrahim Garubatunau. I still remain Musa Joy Unyoda, wishing you a pleasant weekend.